Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor. We are going to talk about DC's Legends of Tomorrow, Season 2, Episode 5. It's called Compromised. Full spoilers for the episode as always. Can I just request that they make more episodes set in the 80s, please?
I'm down for that. As soon as when you get that opening, you got the synth stuff coming in, and then you have Damien Dahrk in Miami. It's like
Miami Vice. He looked like he walked right out
Yeah.
of Miami Vice.
that's like I'm into this.
Which was fun on its own, but then when we see the entire team walking in their 80s clothes in the White House.
Nothing tops them all walking to Danger Zone though.
Oh yeah, well, that came later, yes. Them all walking in slow motion to Danger Zone. Which, funnily enough, kind of went into like a orchestral version of it after
It did.
that
It was
scene
nice.
played. Yeah. So I had a lot of fun with this episode. Minor complaints here or there, but it was mostly good stuff, I have to say.
Yeah, definitely.
Even one of the things that I was kind of expecting them to do that I wasn't going to like, they actually kind of surprised me and didn't jump head on first into something.
Which thing?
Possible romance brewing.
Right. Okay.
So Obsidian, old Obsidian, played by Lance Henriksen, the legend that he is, who I was delighted to see. It's kind of funny how Arrow had Dolph Lundgren and then this had Lance Henriksen. Obviously, if you don't know who Lance Henriksen is, you've probably not watched a lot of movies from the 80s. Terminator, Aliens, bunch of horror movies, Near Dark, tons of stuff. He's a great actor.
Yeah.
But he's playing old Obsidian. He doesn't have a huge part in this. He's just kind of... Because obviously, Vixen and Haywood go to the JSA training facility and it's like run down, and which, by the way, they have not changed their code on their door in 40 years.
I know. Great security guy.
Oh dear. Oh.
I think this was probably my biggest problem with the episode was the Obsidian stuff. Because while I loved what we did get, it felt really limited. That he only really interacted with the two of them, and it didn't feel like it was enough.
Yeah, he looked cool when he was in suit and he was fighting, and I like Lance Henriksen. And obviously the point that it was getting across is don't waste time and all the rest of it. And although that line where he said, "I've seen the world mostly change for the better," kind of stung after this week. But he, I liked his whole thing, and they had him be gay, which was cool. Keep him with the comics and stuff. But he mentions, if you find love, Vixen, make sure not to, let it go. It's important and all that. And then, Haywood walks into the scene right after he says it, which I was fine with. Bit on the nose, but fine. But I was honestly worried that by the end of the scene they were going to be kissing at that point.
Yeah.
So I was actually really glad that it was just a conclusion to what the conversation they had earlier, where she opened up and told him about his grandfather, and that was it. It was just a nice moment. We can leave it there. We can let it build, let it simmer.
Yeah, so this is the thing. We're obviously sometimes seem a bit, against all these relationships, but we're not. We're just against them being rushed and thrown in for the sake of it. When they're done well and they build up like this, seems like it might do, I'm all for it.
So far it's fine. They've not done anything to upset me yet. So far it's fine.
Exactly.
So, that's good. But yeah, most of the episode we deal with the team in the 80s. Reagan's meeting with a Soviet to do a peace, not a peace treaty, but nuclear arms,
Nuclear disarmament.
And Damien Dahrk's around. This feels very timeless, actually. This episode, because it's very much, we know he's there just before a
big event,
an important event, and he's probably going to try and manipulate it. The parallels between those two shows right now are ridiculous. It's kind of insane, but tons of fun 80s stuff. Them going through the White House, splitting up into different teams. We see young Martin Stein again.
Yep, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that stuff's okay. Probably some of my favourite stuff for this one though was probably Mick and
Ray. Yeah.
and Ray,
Definitely.
because obviously Mick's kind of training him to be the replacement for Captain Cold. And I loved it when he tells him that he has to be a cool bad guy and
He just leans against the wall and stuff.
Well, yeah, that's good. But the bit I really like is later on, his first big act of defiance is stealing some jelly beans from a jar in the White House. And then, again, trying to be cool. He's not even in my top 3 favourite presidents. Super cool,
Oh,
right?
man.
Super cool.
Yeah.
But no, we got a lot more Reverse Flash this episode.
Yeah, he's so good.
He is good. I really like Reverse Flash. And even Dahrk, of course, more interesting in his Miami Vice get-up.
Dahrk is infinitely better in this show than he like in the few little bits he's had than he was in all of last season of Arrow.
Yeah. What is funny though, like, not to poke plot holes and things, but this is set in the same world as the other shows, right?
Yeah.
And with the Flash, Barry, I won't get into too many spoilers in case you don't watch the Flash, you're not caught up, but you know, Barry went back and changed history, and it created an entirely new reality where different people have different powers, different characters have completely different personalities, and yet almost on a weekly basis in this show they're altering things in the past, and it feels like it doesn't actually affect anything in the future.
Speed Force, bro.
Because the moment that it really came up to me is obviously they chase down Dahrk and they do their danger zone walk in and they're infiltrating because they know Dark's going to be there, and it's, you know, there's the fight ensues and all that, and Sarah finds Dahrk and she steps in and chooses not to kill him, and instead she tries to torture him with information from the future. She's like, I know all about your plan, your stupid thing that you did on Arrow, the arc thing.
Yeah, all that bollocks.
Yeah, all that bollocks we don't want to remember. And she's like, but I know how it ends. Your wife dies. You even try and kill your daughter. And she rubs it all in, and I'm like, yeah, this would affect how he does things later. If he has all this knowledge.
See, I'm actually going to disagree. I think it could be a self-fulfilling prophecy sort of thing where, you know, he knows what's going to happen, so in him trying to prevent it, he'll still end up doing the same thing.
Okay.
So I can buy that.
Yeah, but imagine how much better this would be if you could go back and watch season 4 of Arrow. God forbid. Alright? You go back and watch season 4 of Arrow and you can tell the entire time he knows what's coming. Like, imagine you could do that.
That would be fantastic if they'd had any sort of foresight. But they definitely didn't.
They didn't, no. But yeah, so they know he's a speedster. I'm not sure why Sarah thinks he's instantly faster than the Flash, given that the Flash moves just that quick in front of you. It's like, why is she an expert all of a sudden that can tell that that's faster?
She's got ninja eyes, damn it.
Oh dear. But yeah, so now, in fact, she uses a throwing star, which I guess
She does. That gave me a little chuckle.
Yeah, throwing star. Dahrk gets throwing star to the hand. Oh dear. But no, I thought I thought the main plot was fun. I thought, especially once they did the danger zone walk in, I thought certainly like that and everything that followed after that, I thought had a really good bit of momentum, because the score kept, like, the main theme was kind of leaking in as the fight was starting, and it all felt very heroic. And I liked that Obsidian couldn't get shot because he, like, you know, he can just sort of smoke up to let the bullet go through. But it's him jumping in front of Vixen to stop the bullet. He has to form, otherwise it'll go through him. So
yeah. I
liked that. I liked the way they got around that. But I'm also glad they didn't kill him, because I actually thought they were just going to kill him off, because
I was a little bit worried as well. I mean, are they going to return to this time period again and see Lance Henriksen? I don't know.
I hope so.
I do as well, but I don't know if they will.
Yeah. I'd hope so, but you know.
I will say I really like that. You know, when he first came in and he got the JSA theme.
Yeah.
That we got a couple of episodes ago. It was nice.
Yeah, I agree. Music game was tight on this one.
Yeah.
Including all the 80s songs, even if Mick disagrees and says he hates the 80s. Which, by the way, between the jelly beans and then when the bomb's about to go off, and Mick's just like, well, I'm just going to have this chocolate eclair because, you know, might as well go out happy. And I love that he's just eating it, and then when Ray does stop the bomb from going off, he's like, oh, good, and takes another bite.
Just carries on, yeah.
Which, of course, is the climax of their story this episode, is that Mick realises trying to force Ray to be Snart is not a good idea. We see him like react throughout the episode that he's even almost admits that he's having feelings.
I love that he can't say the word feelings.
Yeah. You know, it's hurting him too much to see him try to be his friend and wearing his jacket and all that. And so him like immediately saying, no, take apart the cold gun. Because I almost felt like he might, like, no, you can't take apart the cold gun. That's Snart's. But he immediately, no, right, save is gone. Less talking, more doing, I believe is the exact phrase he used.
Yeah.
So, who knows what journey this will lead for Ray and where he'll end up. I imagine he'll get a new Atom suit at some point, but
we got to have it by the crossover, surely.
You would think so. Oh, by the way, another funny moment that really cracked me up is, Commander Steel, not Commander Steel, have we given him a rank yet? Citizen Steel. So he steals up and he's fighting all these goons, the Soviet goons and Dahrk's goons, and he's beating the crap out of them because he's made of metal, as you do. And he almost like bashes one of their faces into this object, and he stops and throws them aside. And I'm like, well, why didn't he do that? And he unmetalifies and goes, metalifies, and he looks at the things like, oh, this is such and such's hope chest. I can't remember the name he said, but it's an antique, basically.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, that's nice. And like one of the other goons just lands on top of it and smashes it.
And then he's just like, that was too far.
Oh, God. He was a good addition to the cast. I think he's working.
I was really enjoying him in that scene as well, just playing it really cool, letting them hit him. I mean, that's what you do, obviously.
Yeah,
but
that.
He was playing it cool, and I liked it.
Yeah, no, I liked all this stuff. I think the show still gets bogged down sometimes when it's talking, like, because it opens with Jackson and Stein talking about him wanting to like help and alter history, and I'm like, you know what? Halfway through season 2, I'm kind of done with this debate. Like, we've been having this exact debate since episode 1.
Yeah,
I'm ready to stop hearing about it. Just let's accept what we are and have the adventures. But once they actually had the adventure, it was a lot of fun. So
that's the thing. Yeah, there are some issues, but I'm not going to complain that much because compared to this point last season, this is miles. I mean, I feel like episode 5 last season might have been the 2046.
I think it was like one layer, but yeah.
The one layer, right. But it was around this point where we were kind of going, oh, what, already?
Yeah, it was starting to proper decline, whereas I still had a lot of fun with this one. Especially helps that I like pretty much all of the characters now. Like the Hawks are gone, so that's good. I mean, Ray's probably the weakest link, but he's still alright.
He's a lot more fun when he's played off Mick, though.
He is, yeah. That's them being a twosome is much more interesting than him on his own.
Yeah.
Yeah. And playing him for laughs is what works. I feel like whenever they try to give him an actual... Like, he almost talks too much about his existential crisis to actually take any weight from it.
That is exactly it, yeah. He's too aware of it to make you care about the drama of it.
Yeah. There's too much talking involved about it, so... but no, it was a lot of fun, and... Of course, at the end of the episode, we see that Reverse Flash actually takes Damien Dahrk with him on his time-travelling journeys, which can only spell bad things.
Or fun things.
Well, bad for fun for us, sure.
Yeah.
But bad for the heroes in the world.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, probably.
Although what's interesting, though, the whole thing with Obsidian asking Vixen why she abandoned the JSA, I'm like... Well, she is time traveling though. Wouldn't she just go back to like a week after she left, and it would be like she'd never gone?
Clearly, she never does. Maybe there's a reason for that.
I'm having a lot of fun, so I hate to be critical, but I almost just think it's just the writers not thinking ahead enough.
I mean, I get that, but I feel like that's a problem in like all the time travel stuff, though.
Yeah.
Like it happens so often that I kind of just, or even in last season of Legends, like. They were like, yeah, it was time travel. We should be back instantly. But they weren't. Because, Stein never told his wife, did he?
Yeah, because they got angry that they'd been gone like a week or a month or whatever it was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just like, clearly, they don't just set back after. Maybe it's because they've aged and they're like, hang on, if we go back, we've essentially lost a month of our lives in terms of that time.
Yeah, but that happens either way.
No, but if they go, right, say they travel for a month. If
Right.
they land a month from when they left off, they're still on the exact right course of where they would have been in terms of aging to where they were born.
Sure.
So maybe that's just how they play it. They drop people off like that.
I don't think there was a reason for them being there a week later last season, I'm sure. I can't remember what it was, but I'm sure there was one.
There probably was. But we stopped caring by that point. Frankly.
Yeah, I don't know. Just I think the logistics and the effects of the time travel are still very like surface level. We're not really supposed to think about it too much, or it just falls apart.
Even in this one, with young Stein being stabbed, it's like, and then he instantly just gets stabbed instead of starts blinking out of history. Like I thought that's what they'd established happened in this universe.
Actually, that's a good point. 2 weeks ago, Stein dropped a Back to the Future reference, and then in this episode, he didn't know who Doc Brown was.
That's a good point.
Now, admittedly, I think the Back to the Future reference was played off. He just happens to be saying the same thing as what Marty said in the movie,
But it
but
seemed intentional, didn't it?
it seemed intentional. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they made, when they first met Stein last season. I'm sure they played some Back to the Future references then as well, though.
Probably did. I don't know. I'd have to go back and check. But yeah, so some nitpicks, but overall there was a lot of fun to be had in this one. As long as it stays this fun, I don't think I've got too many issues.
No, if it can maintain this level, I'm down for the season.
Yeah. So there you go. That's Legends of Tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments what you thought of this episode. But yeah, keep watching TV, guys. We'll see you next time.